narrated by Jesse Levine. Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Jess, and there's been a topic on me mind for the longest time. You're either AAA or you're indie. There's no in-between. You have to choose a side. And you might be saying, yeah, actually, no, that's the only time I ever hear about stuff is AAA, AA, quintuple A, and then indie. Those are the only types of game studios that are out there now. Sextuple is ridiculous. That's a dumb one and stupid. And I say, you know what, Ubisoft, I love that you're trying to be innovative here. But you know what? It just doesn't roll off the tongue. It really doesn't. Quintuple was the last one. And that one, that's a chef's kiss right there. Beautiful, beautiful rolls off the tongue. The games, we don't talk about the games. But the name, ooh, sweet mama, delicious. So why do we talk about games like they're only AAA or indie? Well, you gotta admit, sometimes the names roll off the tongue, and there's like a certain way we associate games with AAA and indie, because when we see indie, we're like, and I use like we as in the royal we as in myself, because you know what, I'm not gonna take your opinion, because your opinion's garbage, because mine's the only right opinion here. I'm here to give you opinions, and you're going to go out on the internet and on Twitter and be like, yeah. That's the only reason why YouTube exists, by the way. AAA is evil, followed with Quad A, or Quadruple A. Actually, Quadruple A actually rolls off the tongue very well, all things considered. And then Quintuple A. Then Indie is the knight in shining armor, the light in the darkness, the rat and Gustav in Clair Obscure. AAA bad, indie good. Wow, what an innovative topic of discussion right here. We've really gotten to the depths of this. But that's a lot of ways that people can look at this. I mean, Ubisoft hasn't really helped out anyone's standards. EA hasn't helped out anyone's standard. There's a reason why it's that kind of reputation. And then indie, a lot of cool games can come out of indie. Yeah, there's a lot of garbage still in there too. But you know what? Give a lot of credit where credit's due. They're doing it on a budget of $2, a single shoestring, and my uncle's credit card. And AAA, they got bajillions of dollars backing them, and some investors who say, you know what, I think we should scrap this game for a tax cut right here. Or we insert this thing that no one wants in there, and you know what, I don't care if you had different ideas. It was dumb and stupid anyway. And then you get to Quad A, and it just gets larger and larger and larger. It just ever expands. The only dramas increase as you go up the AAA ladder. Sextuple, we don't talk about it. You know what? Let's just forget that everyone ever existed. It never existed. It's gone. It's gone forever. Stop thinking about it. But with that being the reputation of both AAA and indie, there's a middle one, right? Did you realize there was a middle one in between those? I don't think a lot of people really ever think about it, because the discourse around it is AAA, boo! Indie, yay! Except when boo! Sandfall Interactive, those are the people who made Clair Obscure Expedition 57. And the big thing with that was indie 500. Like, indie is slapped all over that game, kind of like my meat when I see a Pringles can. Yeah, but there was some drama on Twitter with Clair Obscure winning the Indie Award for, like, some kind of crap. I don't really remember that much. But the whole reason given behind it was like, oh yeah, they had AI assets thrown to the games, alright, okay, cool, whatever. But that's not why I think they should have gotten into the Indie Game Awards. The game's got ex-Ubisoft devs, and then some guy's dad who can dump a bunch of money into something until it explodes. Now, that doesn't really seem that indie, right? If you just had one ex-Ubisoft developer, or maybe like 1 to 3 working on something, I give a little bit more leniency and credit there. But from the sound of it, I don't think that's indie no more. But indie sounds so good. At that point, that's AA at the very least. Definitely not AAA, but at the very least, you have to call it AA. It's not a massive studio, but it's definitely not an indie project anymore. Like, that just doesn't make a lickety-dick of sense right there. Except it does. Why would you want to be indie indie just has the best positive reputation in, like, gaming at the moment. I mean, people mocked COD for the Lethal Company sales. It's like, oh, Lethal Company's making $1 billion at the moment. It's like this AAA studio, they don't know what they're doing. It's indie, jingle, 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 keys, 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 indie, 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 oh yeah, indie, 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 oh, 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 oh. AAA has the stink associated with it because you got the AAA drama and the AAA, oh, are we gonna do something really dumb and stupid with this? But indie is like a gold light on top of the Christmas tree, and you're like, oh, ah, my eyeballs. And it's also more appealing too. They're basically the underdog of the industry. Don't you love supporting the underdog? But why not call themselves AA? That is just literally canonically what they are, is AA. They are a pair of AA batteries that I plug into my mouse right here, which only has one AA, so we'll call it just a singular AA battery. Otherwise, that would end up being quad A batteries because you combine two together, that's two, and then boom, I have a quad A mouse just like that. You know, Ubisoft, if you hired me for that, like, oh, Skull and Bones could have been quintuple A. I could have sticking one AAA battery and then one AA battery, boom. Redefine the mouse industry right there. What do you think of when I say AA? You can't really pin that onto a map. AAA, you can imagine big corporation. Indie, you can imagine small little team of goobers in like a garage or something working. AA just sits in that middle ground of weirdness to where it's like, oh, are you actually really more AAA or are you really more indie? When it really is its own little section. Think of like almost just like a small office. But it doesn't roll off the tongue. When you say AAA, ooh, easy roll off the tongue right there. When you say indie, ooh, rolls off the tongue just like that. When you say AA, that just, there's a certain stink with that word that I just don't want to associate with anything. I just hate saying the word AA. Double A. Like, even when I say AA batteries, I hate AA batteries. Ugh. They're so stupid. They always run out, and it's like I have to always change them out of my mouse all the time. But the word itself, AA, is just, if you slap it on this stuff, people are going to probably be like, AA. That's AA. Imagine they talk about Claire Obscure at the AA Studio Sandfall Interactive. How does that sound? That doesn't sound appealing. This is about marketing. Bada bing, bada boom. You gotta make it sound appealing. You're selling a product in of itself. Indie, that's why jingle, jangle, jingle. Indie just sounds so much better to sell. And then AAA, give it credit where credit's due. Well, now you can associate with like AAA slop. But here's the thing. It still does have a reputation at the very least. Because there are still good AAA games. I mean, just look at Doom. Doom the Dark Ages has a couple of struggles. Oops. You almost had it there, Doom the Dark Ages. Doom Eternal, solid. Nope, almost had it on Doom Dark Age. Still fun game, though, but, oops. But AA, it's just, what reputation does AA have? It's like nothing. Who cares about the random office sitting in the middle of nowhere, Texas? Who gives a darn about it? I don't want that. I want the giant corporate Blizzard army, crack the whip, crack the whip, crack the whip. Or what I want is like someone in their like, mom's basement, and they're like, all right, this game's going to make $50 million. And now what we're going to do is, actually, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what indie developers do when they get their money. Probably make like Hollow Knight Silksong or something. But like AA just isn't appealing. It's so just blah, blah. It's just, who's going around being like, we're a AA studio. We're honest, hard-working, bada bing, bada boom gaming. No one does that. It has to take someone to redefine AA in order for that to finally get somewhere. Or the other thing is, when you have a studio that's AA, if they really pick up, eventually they become the evil AAA studio. And then you also got to consider like other things, like Larian, the people who made Baldur's Gate. Are they now AAA, even though they pale in comparison to size of like Blizzard HQ? It's things to think about. No one's calling Baldur's Gate 3 indie, but you just have to think about it. Are they pushing the lines of AAA? Or are they just really AA? Things to think about. But at the same time, if you were to probably slap on there, would you want to say like AA for Baldur's Gate 3, or would you want to say AAA at that point? Probably AAA, all things considered. I mean, they didn't really go around saying that, but like, I actually, yeah, so that example kind of falls, that example falls a little bit flat there. Huh. But without a shadow of a doubt, you wouldn't be calling Baldur's Gate 3 AA. This just, words just, they just don't do anything for the game or anything about it. They contribute nothing. They're like the evil middle child of the family who I forgot existed in the first place. Like, the word itself is fine, but it just, when you say it, it just doesn't invoke anything of interest here. So, you gotta be indie or you gotta be AAA. There's no in between. There's no bada bing and there's no bada boom there. You know what'd be really funny? So there's an in-between between AAA and indie. But what if there's something going behind indie, like, in? Yeah. Now that one is gonna be the one that's gonna be like, oh, everyone wants to call their game